Sí, estoy grabando. My mom. Okay, so anyway, she's so cute. Hi guys, this is Rosa Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you guys are all doing well. So today I'm going to be answering some of your questions that you asked me here on the channel and also on my Instagram. Also, I do want to say that I am making this video on my new lifestyle and vlog channel. So if you are coming from my scrapbooking channel, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Okay, so first I'm gonna do the questions from my YouTube comment. I have my tablet here, so I'm gonna be looking down, and first question that I am reading here is from Joanne Sanders. So thank you, Joanne. I know you always leaving sweet comments on my channel. I do read all the time all your comments. It is really hard, almost impossible to answer to all the comments, but I do try to answer to most of the questions that I read, unless if I get the notifications. Sometimes YouTube just don't even send notifications, and then I get them like 3 months later if I for some reason go back to that video. Okay, so the question is, how do you get your pages? Well, first it says, I watch every single one of your videos and I love your work and creativity. Thank you so much. It says, I have two questions for you. One is, how do you get your pages on so straight on the hinges? No matter what I try, they always end up uneven. And then she says, when I turn them all the way to the left, or they all go to the right. Okay, so I think it is very tricky to get your pages straight, and I totally get it. But even before you're adding your pages into the hinges, you really have to make sure that your hinge is absolutely parallel to your spine, if that makes any sense. So if your spine, you have your little chipboard and the score marks that go like this, make sure your hinges are strictly parallel to that. I've done it before where it is a little bit to the left, you know, not so parallel, and then no matter how straight you put the page into your hinge, it's always gonna go a little bit to the side. So I think the first thing you need to concentrate on is make sure that your hinges are parallel and, you know, like straight. And then after you add the page, I always open it and close it, like the first page. I had the first page and I open it. Sometimes when you open it, for some reason it seems a little bit crooked, but I mean that it's okay, because by the time the album stands up, it's fine. I know it's kind of weird, but I've seen my albums do that sometimes, when like I open the page and then they don't all line up perfect, but then when you close the book, they all look really even. And so yeah, so sometimes it's just a little bit tiny crooked. You probably don't see it on camera as much, but I do have that problem as well. Okay, so number two is, I honestly want to know, how do you accomplish so much working full-time and raising 3 girls? You put so many albums, it's unbelievable. Thank you. I need a life. And then it says, I don't work and it takes me a week to do 1 album. Thank you for sharing so much with us. Okay, so I do a lot of albums. I think my albums are really simple in a way. Like the structure for me comes really easy, and I always just enjoy playing with new things. So I think that motivates me to get the end result. I do notice when I start an album and then I leave it, I don't know, then when I do that, it takes me forever to get back to the album, and it takes me like a whole week, probably, maybe a month. But when I'm motivated and I start the album, I get it done within like 2 or 3 days, just because I really want to see the end result. Also because my table gets super messy when I'm in the middle of something, and then I'm eager to move into something else. I think that's probably why I do them so fast, because my brain, when I start something and I'm halfway through it, my brain's already somewhere else trying to do something else. So the only way for me to move on is to get it done, because if I'm not finishing this one, I'm not gonna start the next one, you know, unless I really have to. If it's like a DT project that I have to post it, then I will put everything to the side and do it. But for the most time, I like to finish what I start right away. How do I manage having time with my kids and my work? the way I see it is everything has a schedule. So for example, my work, it's an 8-hour day, maybe 9 if you count lunch and all that stuff. So the time that I commit to my work is the time that I owe to my work. For example, I'm an engineer, I'm always working on projects, I'm on the field, and even if I work from home, that time is committed to my work. Now, when I'm with my kids, I take the same approach. If I'm with my kids, for example, when I get off of work from 5 to 9 that they go to bed, it's my time with my kids. I'm like driving to volleyball, I'm making dinner, we're playing games, we're watching a movie, we're doing homework. Doesn't matter what it is my time for my kids. Nothing should get in the middle of that time, not work. Sometimes crafting if they're doing something else, but even crafting shouldn't get in the middle of that time. That's my time with my kids. So, and then I have my crafty time, which is my me time, and that time usually comes after the girls went to sleep. Most every day I do craft, and so yes, and then that is my me time. And same approach, I try not to get my me time involved with anything else. Like, I know I probably still have emails to send from work, but if it's something urgent, I will do it. I will work and do whatever I need to do for my work. But if not, then that's my me time. And I guess that kind of puts everything into place, if that makes any sense. There are some flexibilities to my rules, of course, but for the most part, that's how I try to keep it. Okay, so now we're gonna move to Debbie Moore. Thank you, Debbie, for asking your questions. This one, it says, "Hi, Rosa. Like so many of the other comments, I too so love you." Thank you. It says, "I am left-handed, so cutting was always a challenge when I was a kid." And it says, "Was so happy when punch-out paper dolls came out." Oh my God. I love playing with paper dolls when I was a kid. I had a notebook, and on each page I had a different doll, and that's how I kept my dolls organized. Anyway, back to the question. It says, "And even as an adult, but you have inspired me to push that childhood troubles away." Oh, thank you for that. It says, "My question is, how are you deciding on which paper to put on each page? Do you try to coordinate the back of one page with the front of the next? I am currently trying to do a cascade album, and I wonder I should keep that in mind when deciding what goes where." Yes, so the answer is yes. I do try to coordinate. I just like when I open my pages, they're cohesive. I don't like being super matchy-matchy. I try to run away from that. But some collections, I feel like they do need to coordinate because the paper is busier or the colors are heavier. But if everything is like very settled, if the collection is very pastel and or very vintage, that everything looks very coordinated, then I just do page by page, and I don't worry about matching the pages too much. I hope that makes sense. Also, don't take a lot of time deciding what paper to put in there. Just pick one, and if you don't know what paper coordinates with that, just pick one design, and then let's say you pick one design that's like on the heavy embellished side, and you just coordinate it with some plain cardstock, like, you know, like something pink, something that will match, but it's just plain without pattern, and that will make your life easier as well. Okay, next question. It says, "Hi Rosa, what is the GSM of paper that can be used for pages in scrapbooks?" Okay, so I'm not really sure about grams. I do everything on pounds, and so I wouldn't know how to say. I know 220 grams is a really good, but you probably shouldn't ask me. I usually just feel the paper. I don't know what the weight is. I know I don't like doing just plain, you know, like printer paper type of thing, because they wrinkle, you know. I don't like that. And I also don't like using super heavy because then they make just the album way too heavy, and keep in mind you're also gonna add pictures. So something in between. I always try to use, for design paper, 60 pounds, but on grams, I'm sorry, I don't know. Okay, so the next one is from Stephanie. She says, "Hi Rosa, first let me say that you are amazing, and so it's your work. Thank you so much." It says, "What is a good 12x12 cardstock, chipboard, double-sided tape, and glue to use for scrapbooking and journaling, and how do you lay your pages so straight and evenly in your albums? And she says, I start with 1 or 2 and then the rest are uneven. Thank you so much. Thank you for your question. Okay, so the cardstock, the chipboard. Okay, so the cardstock, I kind of already know the brands that I like working with in terms of the quality of the paper. And I'm not gonna name brands, but I just, you know, you're gonna explore different. I think I've explored enough to know which ones I like and which ones I don't like so much, but for the most part they're all really good in terms of grams. Now when it comes to making journals, because you are folding those pages in 2, and I do like to pick double-sided paper, so it's, you know, so you can see it on both sides, and also want to make sure it's not too heavy so it will crack, or when you stitch the pages to make the signature it becomes just too hard to poke through. So I don't like super heavyweight cardstock. I'm just like a little bit on the lighter side, maybe even just printer paper type of paper for my journals. Whoa, the mailman must be here. Okay, anyway, moving on. So for journals, I like to keep it on the lighter side weight of paper. So if I find a paper that I really like, but I know it's gonna be too thin for a mini album, I save it for my journals. Okay, so then the other question she had is how to make my pages straight. It really, again, it has a lot to do with how you cut your paper. Make sure your paper is really perpendicular when you cut it, and always line it up to the edge. So sometimes, let's say, sometimes it's not the paper that you cut wrong, sometimes it's maybe the page that when we put it together, we didn't line it up correctly. You know, adding the flaps and stuff, that could also happen. So sorry about that. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so you just try to line up the paper with your existing page, because if your page is crooked, then might as well make the paper, you know, crooked a little bit so it doesn't look too bad. And always there's lace and trim and all that good stuff we have to cover the mistakes. I do that a lot. Okay, so the next one comes from Jody, and she said, hi Rosa, I had never even heard of mini albums until I've seen one of your videos. Now I am obsessed. My question is, how do you learn all of your techniques? Also, I was wondering how you would do a pop-up baby mini album tutorial. Oh, pop-up baby? Yeah, I've never thought of that. And since my daughter loves pop-ups and I really want to make her a baby album, and all of the other pop-up tutorials besides yours seem to be in another language, super hard to understand. Okay, so I guess you could use any of the pop-up mini album tutorials that I have. I just try to incorporate it into baby theme. But now you're actually making me think, because that's actually something really fun. I love making baby albums. I'm actually right now working on a baby book collection of journals, and I'm super excited. One of them is gonna be part of my magazine as a tutorial. But back to your question, you had another one ahead. How did I learn my techniques? Okay, so this is kind of funny. I always been scrapbooking, and I never knew of a mini album either, just like you. So one time I was on Pinterest looking for inspiration to do a Disney scrapbook layout page. Always my scrapbooks have been just like paper, pictures, stickers, nothing really special. I think the girls are home. Yes. ¿Ocupada? Sí, estoy grabando. My mom. Okay, so anyway, she's so cute. Anyway, so I've never seen you know, like a mini album before. So I was looking for that Disney because I wanted to do something different. It was such a fun trip. I wanted to just go out of my element. So I used Pinterest, and one of the links that Pinterest led me to YouTube, and somehow that led me to a mini album that somebody had did about this Disney, and I was like, oh my god, that is amazing. Like, I want to do that. I did not find any tutorials on a mini album, that one or any. Okay, let me take that back. There was one tutorial but it wasn't a mini album. It was like a folio type of thing. I think it wasn't like a mini album with chipboard. But anyway, so I kind of was like, okay, well, I have to figure it out because I really want it. So I kind of took that tutorial that I saw. I apologize for all the distraction. Anyway, so I took that tutorial. I watched that tutorial. I know that wasn't what I needed, what I wanted, and I kept looking, but I didn't find for anything. So then I decided to figure it out. So, but what that tutorial did help me to see was how do you add the flaps, like, you know, the half an inch score line. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's how you add the flaps, you know. But I never knew what chipboard was. I didn't know, you know, like hinges, anything like that. So then, anyway, making this long story short, I started to try to figure it out, play with cardstock, and it took me about 3 months to do my first mini album. And so I didn't have a scoreboard, so I was just like, you know, like folding. So that was probably my mistake. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna nail this. So I went and I actually bought me this scoreboard, and I think that was like the deciding moment. I'm gonna do it. Once I got my first album done, I fell in love with it. And like I said, it took me a good 3 months to do it, and I was on it every day. Like, I was doing that every day. So funny. And then the second one didn't take me that long. Once I figured out all the pieces, I was gonna go to Peru to visit my brother. My brother was having a new baby, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. I am gonna get this album done. So my second album only took me a week to do, which is the one that I posted, that baby girl album. So I was hooked on mini album making. And then I started posting video, put it on the YouTube. I opened the channel, I put the video on there, and it started getting views, and that's how that happened. And I think I already went off the tangent a lot. Next question, it says, hi Rosa, very excited to see your next video. Your passion doing crafting really inspired me to be like you, creative and fun and doing everything. I want to ask you, did you craft every day? Did you craft every day? How many hours you spent for crafting? Okay, I try to craft every day. Lately, I haven't so much. I don't know why. Like 2020 started, I got this project in mind to declutter my house. So you can see, can you see the floor? Oh, thank God you can see the floor. The floor is crazy. But so I've decluttered my room. I decluttered my girls' room. I am doing volleyball lessons, and then I am doing crafting projects, but mainly I'm finishing my magazine edits, which is done, so that should be coming up pretty quick. Just little things here that I'm just so picky. Anyway, so I do craft every day, and for the most part, like I said, after 9, after the girls go to bed, I dedicate 1 or 2 hours to crafting. If I'm doing a tutorial, I find that I get motivated more to craft because I just wanna, I don't know, I feel like I'm talking and I'm really on the zone with the project. But if I'm not recording or I'm not doing a tutorial and I put Netflix on, then I am like staring at the TV. Okay, the next question comes from GRN Crafts. It says, hey Rosa, hi, how are the girls? You know I admire you a lot. I just want to know some things from you. 1, it says, I love pets more than anything. How do you manage your girls, pets, and crafting? Okay, so I am such a pet lover, as you will know if you follow my blog videos. I have quite a lot of pets, I'm not gonna lie. I have my 2 dogs and my 3 cats. And how do I manage them? Well, I do have 3 girls, so my girls do, I want to say, 80% of their work with the animals. They have a schedule, so they, for example, for the cat litter, they each have their day where they clean the litter. I don't clean the litter, and I don't feed the pets, so they do all of that. They have the day that they do the litter, and the feedings, they'll do it. They don't really have a schedule for it. Everybody just does it. But then I clean the litter once a week, or sometimes my mom will help me clean the, not the litter, but like, you know, like kind of like do the more deeper cleaning, take everything out, put everything back in, because the girls, all they do is like scoop it out and get rid of it and add more fresh litter on it, but they don't do like the whole heavy cleaning. Me and my mom do that. See, my mom lives with me, so she helps me a lot. And the dogs are super easy because we do have a big backyard, so we just open the door, they go pee. Sometimes I take them for walks. It kind of also is an exercise for me and for the kids to get out of the house. If it's not raining, we go for walks. But the animals are pretty easy for that. Thank God my cats don't destroy anything, and the dogs don't chew on my shoes because that would drive me crazy. And she had a second question. Why did you stop your studio vlogs? I love seeing you and hearing you. Okay, so she had more questions. Okay, so that one about the vlogs, I did not stop. Well, I guess I did. I was doing studio vlogs kind of like on a weekly basis, if you were following that, but then volleyball season started and just crumble my life. I love volleyball, don't get me wrong. I just love being on the game and watching them play. That's the fun part. But then the driving in and out of practice, I have to pick my daughter from school, feed her really quick, take her back to practice, come back in 2 hours to pick her up, and in the meantime I'm doing homework with the other two, and that's the weekdays. And then the weekends I am supposed to be doing my crafting, but I'm also going to volleyball games. And then since we're already out of the house on the game, then we just go have a day at the mall or go eat food out or eat ice cream or whatever. So then I'm not really crafting all day, so I'm not vlogging all day crafting anymore. Like I used to be really crafting on my weekends, so I will vlog on my weekends. And then literally life just got really busy, and I opened a separate vlog channel for the same reason that since I'm not crafting every day, my vlog wouldn't be about crafting all day. So it's more like what I do on a day, and this is why now we have this channel. So you can follow me here and you can see a lot more vlogs. Okay, so the next question she had is, I like to do a swap with you. Why don't you do that with, why didn't you try with Indians? Well, the reason why I don't do international in general is because of the shipping. It's so very expensive. And even though, for example, you will be willing to pay to ship it, then it just wouldn't be fair, I think, for the other person to ship it back, because it's like a $50-$60 shipping day if I pair you with someone. I usually don't, when I do swaps, I don't participate on the swaps. I just do them, open the video, swap them, send them back. For the most part, I don't have time to do a project. So even with that, you probably wouldn't be swapping with me. We can definitely do a personal swap. However, I don't want to commit to anything because I'm so busy. And also, I don't know if you haven't noticed, I haven't done any swaps lately, you know, because it's just really time consuming to, you know, go to my P.O. box, grab the boxes, do the video, you know, like open the boxes, and for the most part, until I get all the boxes, because I like to do them one at once, you will see a pile of boxes here on my craft room. And since I've been trying to declutter and clean, I didn't want to have all of that. And then also it's really time consuming to ship everything back because I have to make the packages, create the labels, run to the post office. Usually I do that on my Saturdays, and because on Saturdays we're now having volleyball, I really don't have time to do it. And so yeah, but I really want to. Once volleyball season is over, I will get back to doing swaps. Okay, and then one more question she has is, I want to see a mixed media scrapbook layout made by you. Why don't you give it a try? I do some mixed media. Usually those will be on my playlist under art journaling. So it's not really like a layout. It's more like a mixed media because I put that on my mixed media book that I don't even know where it is right now, somewhere back there. So I have a mixed media book where I do mixed media layouts, and they're not 12 by 12. They're just like on my mixed media book. Now that is super relaxing to do. I should do more of that. I definitely should do more of that. Okay, so thank you for the questions. The next question is from Patina. This is fun. I hope this video is not too long for you guys. You can pause it and come back. That's okay. All right, Patina says, hi Rosa, how are you? No matter how careful I cut my paper, I always end up crooked or off. Is it my trimmer or me? How do you come up with the layouts for your albums? And it says, oh, and by the way, you are simply amazing and I love your work. Thank you so much, Patina. Okay, so the first question is your trimmer or you? That actually has a lot to do with your trimmer. I use this trimmer and really good. It cuts really straight and I love it. Even though it's simple, it's practical, I take it with me because I do craft on the go too. I take my things with me where I go, and sometimes I just sit on a cafe and craft. I know it's crazy. Or sometimes I just craft in my car. Why not? Anyway, so I love that trimmer. I used to use another one that I don't want to say the brand, but it does cut my paper crooked. So I don't know what it is. I thought also it was my hands, but then I realized it was always that paper trimmer. The next question comes from the Crafty Witch. I love your name. It says, I never comment this much, LOL, but honestly, you're such a bright soul. Oh, she says, I can feel it. It's helping the dark days to spring go by, and I am about to start my first project. Yes, start your first project. Don't be afraid. Oh my gosh, I can't say it enough. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You make a mistake, you learn, you try again, you know, you do it over and over again, and they will get so much better. I mean, nobody's perfect. My first mini album I made, it's back there somewhere, it's falling apart. Oh, and I forgot to answer Patina's second question. She says, how do you come up with the layouts for your albums? That is, to me, my favorite part, to play around with different layouts. I don't like to repeat my layouts on my albums, but sometimes it makes it a lot easier if you're learning to just like stick to two and just repeat that. That way you kind of make those perfect, and you know, you just build from there. And how do I come up with my layouts? I just, like I said, have fun and create different things. For the most part, I do try to be careful so I can accommodate big pictures on my album, because I don't like trimming pictures. To me, the album is the fun part, and adding the pictures is so time consuming. I don't know why. Like, I always have to organize the pictures on like the time they were taking, the orientation, if they were portrait or landscape, and how they go in the book. So it takes me a long time to do that. So I kind of just started making my layouts big so they will accommodate both landscape or what's the other one? Portrait. That's how I decide my layouts, how many pictures I need, how many pages I got, and just have fun with that. Okay, so then I have Pilar, and she's asking me a question in Spanish. And so she says she loves my projects and my tutorials, and she just started an album for her daughter, who's going to be 8 years old. My daughter's 8 years old too, my youngest. And she's asking me if I have any secrets. I don't have any secret. I think whatever I just mentioned, that will be the secret, making sure that, you know, your trimmer has a lot to do with that. Anyway, next question. She says, hi Rosa, she says, all your creations are amazing. Many congratulations from Italy. Okay, so that wasn't a question, but thank you so much. Then we have Diana. Diana says, I've been a scrapbooker for many years now, and I never thought about making one from beginning to end. I always buy my books and just make the pages. Since finding you, I've been gathering all the supplies to make my very first album. She says, I love how you explain things and make it easy and comfortable. Thank you and God bless you. Oh, thank you. Well, yes, right? Same thing with me. Before I discovered the mini albums, I would always just buy those 12 by 12. I actually have a lot of 12 by 12 books, and just created the layouts. And the layouts were really flat. I didn't make anything special to that. So that's why I got so attracted to the interactive pieces of mini albums. And they're fun. They're super fun to do. Okay, so the last comment here on the YouTube is, hi, how are you? I just love your work and tutorials. I also make explosion boxes, and I have make 1 or 2 scrapbooks. Your work is awesome. Thank you so much. And that question came from Harleen. So I think this video is getting super long, so maybe I'll do my Instagram questions on a different video. And so yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoy this video, and I was able to give you some good tips and answer some questions. I love you guys. See you next time.